with Valentine's Day fast approaching, I thought, you know what, might be a good time to talk about love, and maybe hearing my journey might make you feel a bit more better about yourselves. Love eludes some of us. And one thing I've actually noticed along my journey is I think the more you're striving towards success and you have an ambition to your life, the more, and especially after the healing, you've gone through an awful lot of transitioning, you're less likely to accept a mediocre love. If you know what I mean, like, I think when you don't have those things, you may be prepared to settle for less. So in my life, I have the barometer so high that I'm not looking for just like a load of Valentine's letters or cards, whatever. So we put a lot of expectation on specific people. Another thing I recognize is it's almost impossible to be friends with someone who, when one has romantic feelings for the other, it's just not going to work. In terms of a friendship, it's not, there'll always be a mutual respect, but I think in terms of like in your day to day, it can't. So there was someone I liked, and I've distanced myself best I can, and they did too. So it's not like one or the other. It's just a natural sort of evolution, really. It's like almost like you're both feeling the same thing at the same time. So in my life, I'm very spiritual, and back in November, October time, I had a channeling session, and I asked about a specific person, and it was confirmed. Yes, you are compatible. Yes, it could work. It was a lot more favourable than that, but I can't remember exactly whether they said that is the exact one. But I mean, when it was pushed, it was like marriage potential, So recently, I've noticed that that person's either deleted their account, their TikTok account, or they've blocked me. Now, if we're going to go down the blocked route, it could be for many reasons. It might be my videos are coming up and it's triggering them. It might be they've got to go on their healing. It may be that they're trying to process things in their own life. Like, I don't know, because I've not been told anything. But likewise, they don't need to tell me anything. On the other hand of that, it may very well be that was whatever our last interaction was, this was our last interaction. Now, I am quite cutthroat. I'm very resilient, but I can be quite good. I'm quite good at cutting things off. If it doesn't serve me a purpose, then it's fine. So part of me wishes them well. The other part still hopes for a positive outcome now, but I'm not holding so much weight to it now, because I'm like, I've done a lot on my journey, to be where I am today. I'm sort of looking for someone that's resilient, someone that is strong enough to stand next to me, I speak a lot of truths. I'm very much, in the forefront. So it's important that someone can sort of handle that. Also, I think, like I said at the beginning, about being ambitious and striving for success, there's also like personality traits and our beliefs. So compatibility is huge. So I am on a deep spiritual journey. I'm continually evolving. So someone for me would have to be on that same journey. So this isn't just like finding just anybody, go on a dating website or an app and you're randomly just going to find an encounter, because there's too many facets to it. There just is. But the thing is, so where I elevate faster than most people, and it's just the way I am. I'm just rapid. I'm always evolving. I'm always looking at ways to improve myself and what I do. Every day is evolution. So it's hard for someone to catch up. So if they're already lagging behind me in some way, they're still working on things. It's like, it's hard. It becomes almost impossible to align, because I would have to almost stop for a moment so they can catch up, because we have to go on our healing journey. So I can be quite triggering to people. So that, let's say this person is destined to be with me, and they've had to distance themselves to go and figure things out for themselves, because for us to align, they would have to be ready. But part of me part of me is sort of like given up on the idea that this will work, this will happen. But then I get so many signs and synchronicities. I was arguing with Spirit yesterday saying, stop showing me this shit now, man. I don't want to see it. I don't. It was all through TikTok, but it's consistent with me, you know, everything that happens. And I was like, I don't want to keep seeing this now, which is kind of what's triggered me to do this video, to be honest, because I kind of want to, I thought it's Valentine's Day nearly, I may as well just talk about it. Yeah, I get a lot of signs still of it, and I'm like, this is just, mate, it's confusing. It doesn't make sense. I've got too much to be doing, really, to sort of waste time thinking about something that's almost impossible. And I sort of go off the idea. Sometimes I'm like, I'm like, I am romantic, and I like dream of that perfect relationship. And then other times I'm like, sod it all, you know, sod it all. I've got other things to do. I haven't got time for this. Because when you tug at the heartstrings, it really does it can stifle you, you know. Like I said, back in November, October, I was warned. I was on a deep spiritual evolution at that point. It was like rapid, and I was like, it's like my vibration was just growing and growing and growing. It was like a huge training. It was really, I had a mentor. But I was warned if I pursue this, because I was asking the questions of love, because that's what my heart wants. And I was told, you've got other things to focus on right now that we need you to focus on. But if you push this, there will be consequences. And I was shuffling cards a short while later, and I got the Tower card. And that mentor, who was part of my journey, we had an issue, and they had to go on their own path. Effectively, I slowed my own evolution down on the spiritual side. That doesn't mean it's like on my other side, because there's so many sides to us, you know. I'm still wise. I still have so much knowledge in terms of life, the things I've been through, my perceptions on life and all that. That's got nothing. That's not really my spiritual side. So that's what I'm saying. I have these levels, but there's like a spiritual side with like psychic gifts that will unravel. And I was getting pushed on a rapid ascension process, but I derailed it to an extent, or at least slowed it down and hindered it because of my sort of obsession with love. But the trouble is that obsession with love, like I was warned, there will be consequences. So there was consequences to my spiritual growth, but it's also potentially pushed this person away. Because maybe they don't like me talking about it, but I'm again, someone has to be able to be on my level, because it's like, this is who I am. I share my journey. I share it as a healing thing for others, you know, to understand there's a divine thing that happens to our lives, you know. It's like the puzzle just gets put together in a way that it's supposed to. Things will happen when they're supposed to. Like, I mean, Spirit's telling me, focus on this for now, and I didn't. So things have slowed for me in some areas, you know, and it's like, it didn't really push the love, did it? Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'd heeded the advice, I'd be further on a spiritual journey, and the love would have happened organically. But instead I've pushed it, and all I've done is pushed it away. So again, let's live and learn. But the way I see it is, it's like, as much as I care about someone, and I would, it would be a dream come true for it to happen. It's also like, I'm also open and aware to the fact that if it doesn't, then who is the next person, you know? Because there must be multiple options. It can't just surely be, I can only have that person in my entire life, because we all have free will. So if they continue to pull away, it's like, what am I supposed to do in the meantime? You know, that's not really reasonable to expect me to just wait around for people. But like I said at the beginning, I'm not someone that would just jump into relationships anyway, and I'm not looking for just anybody. It's got to be someone special. But my mind is always open to it, you know. But it doesn't mean I'm sort of like open to just people just coming at me. That's not how it works, not with me anyway. Yeah. But I just thought I would share a little bit, really, of my journey, the things that are foretold. I've had a lot of things foretold for the past 7 years of someone, and they would come back. At the time, I didn't know anyone that would go of the similar name. Now I do. But like I said, I'm trying to push forward now and forget about it. I don't want to put undue pressure on other people. But I also want to respect myself and say, look, you deserve something great. You shouldn't have to wait until you're 70 years old for someone to align with you, you know? And I think that's where I get a bit antsy, and that's why maybe I do push things faster than I should. I've always been a bit like that anyway. I'm very forward and direct. If I want something, I sort of like, it's on my mind, it's going to bother me, you know? Most things in my life I can control in that sense. You know, like if I'm working on a book project and it bothers me the book isn't finished yet, let's focus on it then. You know, if I've got a topic I want to talk about and I want to do a video, I'll just get the camera out straight away. Let's get this done. So in many areas of my life, I have that power and control over a circumstance, you know, where I can just do it. It's like, if I want to do it, I do it. But when it comes to love, you just can't rush it, you know, and you can push it away and sometimes even lose it forever. It's a consequence, isn't it? Because what I want to do, I mean, I've gone on for 10 minutes now, so I could talk for Britain. I want to make the point, though, that the person involved in my circumstance hasn't done anything wrong. You know, they're just living their life, going through their experiences, and they're in their own circumstances and situations, you know, don't owe me anything, and they're only living their life. It's just my attachment to it. But now I'm learning, and when I say learning, only over the past couple of hours, and that's honest, only over the past couple of hours, I kind of like made peace with the fact that maybe that doesn't work out. Maybe I get some things wrong. Because that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, I'll have my own interpretation of things. I'll have my own readings. I'll have my own prophecy. But there's still times when maybe you'll interpret it wrong or we'll make a mistake. I've already said I made a mistake. I should have focused on my spiritual journey deeper back when. But you can only tolerate so much, you know. My world for the past 6 months has been incredibly arduous. It's been arduous most of my life. You know, that's where all my knowledge comes from. You know, I've been put through all this to teach me, to show me so much of the world so I can help other people. That's my legacy. That's my prophecy. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to stand out and do and talk speak up for people, you know, speak up for circumstances. Even when most don't agree or they'll hide, I don't. I'll even share my vulnerabilities and my recklessness. And when it comes to love, people can sort of mock, people can joke, people can point fun. It's like, yeah, it's easy to ridicule someone that's lonely and they wear their heart on their sleeve. But I think it takes a lot of strength to sort of open your heart to the world, you know. Like I say, I'm an open book. I tell it like it is. I show my life. I'm not perfect. I have flaws. When it comes to love, I'm deeply flawed. I'm romantic in so many ways, but terrible in others, you know? It's like I love the idea of the perfect romance, but I struggle with being romantic. So it's like in my mind, it's all romantic. I think maybe many guys are probably like this. They want to be romantic. You think you are romantic. But then it's like the pressure of it all just gets a bit too much, you know? It's like, I always think this as well. I hate Valentine's Day. It's like, for me, I think I've always suffered at Valentine's Day, in all honesty. I had a love in the past that was hot and cold forever. So Valentine's Day was always sort of like a confusing period. It's like, are we in love? Are we not in love now? Are we good? Are we staying together? Are we not staying together? How's this month? How's this year going to go? So you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out. So from that point of view, it's like it's hard to celebrate a day when you've really struggled, I think, for your life to find someone that's truly compatible, you know? So I haven't really got to enjoy it. The other side of that, it's a bit like an anniversary, I think, and a birthday. It's like, how do you one up the previous year? You know, and I don't like that either. You start doing too many glamorous things on an event, and it's like, how do you top it the next year? And I just think, where does it end? You know, the pressure is just too much. And I don't like that. I don't like that pressure of a specific day. I've never liked it. So Valentine's Day realistically isn't for me, and I think every year, even if I was in the perfect relationship, I think every year I'll be dreading it. But on the inside, dreading it. On the outside, acting like it's all great. It's like, this is terrifying. Because I want it to be perfect too, but it's like, God damn, what are we even doing here? Yeah, so I have intelligence, but I'm deeply flawed in some other areas, you know. It's like you want to be great at something, but it's like I said, some of us, I think, hopeless in love. We're hopeless romantics, I think. That's probably the way I would call myself, the hopeless romantic. Maybe I live this lifetime alone. Sometimes it is a fate destined for some people, isn't it? I don't think it's specifically the destiny for me, but if it is, so be it. You know, you've got other things to do anyway in this life. But yeah, I just think I think it's the thing that eats at most of us the most, you know. I think not even those that are single, I think sometimes even those that are in relationships, if you've settled in a relationship that you know isn't really destined for you and it's not really your happy ever after, but you kind of like you've made a home now, it's hard to break that up. It's like, I think that would be more demoralizing than being single. I think that's the problem, isn't it? I mean, I think how often do you witness a genuine love? Like a genuine love? I think celebrity wise, when I see, I think it's Faith Hill and Tim McGraw. I think that's like a so if you don't know country music, check them out. That for me is a genuine love. That's like beautiful. It's like Faith Hill, because they're both famous singers. And Faith Hill's got an amazing voice, absolutely amazing voice. But from my understanding, she sort of gave her music career up, or at least put it on the sideline to raise a family. So she sacrificed for the family. That's incredible. I think that's incredible. Not that she should have to, but it's not the case of that, is it? She obviously chose that. Because that home, that happiness, that life together just is more than a career, you know? I think that's what we want, isn't it? But someone has to be that great to be worth the sacrifice. And the thing is, we should all be putting ourselves on a pedestal to some degree. You know, someone could say, oh, you love yourself too much. It's too full of yourself, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, but you shouldn't you? You should, if you're asking someone to love you to the point of like, you're like the best thing they have in their life, then you better be loving yourself to that same degree, because how can you expect someone to love you more than you do? Do you know what I mean? It has to match. It doesn't make sense otherwise. Otherwise, you'll always be questioning, why'd you love me? You know, so there's an insecurity with that. I don't have an insecurity in that because I know I'm pretty awesome. You know, that's honest. I mean, I'll laugh it off, but yeah, I know I'm good. I know I'm great. I'm ambitious. I have a will to succeed, which is ambition, of course. I have skills and traits that push me forward. You know, I can achieve certain goals. I have higher integrity and morality. So I know all my traits. The difficulty is finding people to match that, you know? And like I said at the beginning, it's like I have a situation where I can be quite outspoken just because some topics are challenging, you know? Putting yourself front and center, open for criticism, is a difficult situation to put yourself in, you know? And it's asking a lot of someone to stand by your side through that. Because quite honestly, I don't know what I'm going to say from one moment to the next, so someone else isn't going to have a clue. You know, it's like, it comes to me, it's what I'm feeling in a given moment, and I share it. At the moment, I maybe have a hard time filtering what not to say, so maybe I share too much of myself, like an open book. But I think certain parts of our life, it's for that, you know. It's like, for me, it's like sharing the breakthrough stage before you transcend onto the next phase of your journey. It's to show a way forward so people can see what you went through, what you experienced, what life was like for you as you was trying to climb to the top. I think once you get to the top, you can share less of yourself, less of your personal journey, because you've reached the top of the mountain, if you like. At that point, you can call back some privacy. But when I'm going through this, I prefer to document everything I'm going through. And in terms of love, my life is pathetic. On the other side of that, like I said, I have high standards. So if I didn't have high standards, I wouldn't be in this situation, but then I'd be in and out of relationships because they're not good. They're not going to work out, are they? So my only hope at this point is either that situation turns into something in the future, or I align with someone else who is on the same level as me, really, and at the same sort of, at the same level. You know, we're all going to have levels. We're all going to have different stages of where we're at. You know, the old version of me maybe 10, 20 years ago is a completely different version to me now. I don't want a version of someone from 20 years ago. I need someone that's a version that's similar to me now. Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean by levels. It's not putting people down, but it's saying, look, how much healing have you gone through? How much can you know what I mean? Like, there's no point in me being with someone where I've got to do all the healing for them. I was told this in the past. By another psychic medium, they said to me, your trouble is you put the idea of a relationship is that you need to heal people because you're misunderstanding it. You have an innate desire to help people. But when you come into a relationship like your union, that person will be healed already. So it'll be a beautiful relationship. You don't have to do that. That's not a relationship, you know, you having to do that for someone all the time. And I thought, damn, that's so true. I do. I have an innate desire to want to help people. So if I see them suffering, I want to fix it. That's what I want to do. And, you know, without realizing it, you can attach that to a relationship, can't you? Because you feel this so much empathy for someone that you care about them that much, you misconstrue it as love because you can see someone struggling. It's like if you saw a deer or something and the deer is injured. They're such a pure species, you know. You're looking at them going, they're so innocent. So there's a lot of love you're feeling for that deer in that moment, you know. I'm not saying fall in love with a deer, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's like a damsel in distress. You can get caught up in the whole emotion of I'm helping them and healing them. There's a connection here. It's just a healing connection. So yeah, as like a lot of the time, I always plan to like take a breather. So like as Valentine's Day comes, maybe I'll go a bit more quiet. Knowing me, I probably won't. I have every intention to be more quiet over Valentine's Day, hide in the shadows a little bit, lick my wounds and feel sorry for myself for a moment. And I probably will have a pity party. If anyone's seen my footage, my TikTok and that, you'll know that I have a pity party every now and again, and I can get quite emotional. I can. I don't. Well, let's hope it doesn't happen over Valentine's Day. I don't think it will because I feel really confident in myself at the moment. I feel quite in control of everything. It's almost like those sort of failures and setbacks. It's like sometimes like you will just want a response. You want an answer, you know. I find that's a lot easier. I think it's that unknown that just plays with your mind all the time, you know. So when you know someone's walked away, it's easier for you then to walk away too and just get on with your journey, you know, just push forward in life. And that's kind of where I'm at now. It's like I'm not going to keep looking over my shoulder and checking on this and checking on that. So that's why it annoys me when I get so many signs through, like even just TikTok in general. So-and-so can see your growth. So-and-so, you know, they know they messed up. They missed an opportunity, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, God damn, just stop with these bloody messages now. I'm sick of this. I don't want to hear it. Just give me what I need to know now and what is coming, not what might happen in a freaking later, because I'm sick and tired of it, you know. I do get tired of it. And it's, again, the people involved, it's none of their business because they're not the ones saying it, are they? That's just spirit continuously bombarding me with it. It's almost like giving me hope for things that are just irritating me now. So yeah, I get fed up. I do get fed up with these signs. Like I say, it's not someone's own doing. And there was a conflicting situation. You know, when people are in relationships, you don't want to break a relationship up. I'd rather know people are just happy and maybe I got it wrong and then they go off and live their happy ever after. As long as they're happy, well, you know, I don't want to get in the way of it. And then some circumstances are just so complicated. It's like you don't even know where it'd work anyway. But spirit has a plan. So if you are meant to come together, sometimes I think the hardest things are worth the sacrifice. You know. But that's where I'm at, and I find it really confusing because when you've already attached an idea, well, I've not even attached an idea. I know this person's compatible. So when you know that, it's hard to just like accept anything else because you just feel like you know what I mean? You're just lowering your standards just to have someone else because you don't want to be alone, and I just can't do that. So it's going to take someone remarkable, but I'm open to it. So if I meet someone along my journey and I'm not in a relationship, then I will free myself to explore it because I'm not going to be bound by an idea and be held prisoner until I'm 70 years old and then realize, wait a minute, you just missed out on your life, you know, your dream, the other dream never happened. You just wasted everything for that dream. Again, not their fault, my stupidity, I guess. So yeah, I am open to exploring love. But I am at a loss at the moment. Try not to dwell on it too much. Focusing on other things. I've got a holiday coming up in May. I'm pushing forward with improving my setup. You know, what I go through, what I do here. I've got to improve in the sound quality and things. I still need to get better cameras later, but there's always things to work on, you know, in a professional sense. So that's where I focus my time and energy, and I think sometimes that's all we can do for the time period. Everybody will have their own unique experience when it comes to love, and they'll have their own interpretation of the best way going forward. Some will say, just put yourself out there, do this, but that works if you haven't already been told and prophesized of the person you're going to be with, because that just screws it all up. You know, I'm deeply spiritual. I know what's coming. Everything prophesized so far has come true. There's only outstanding things, but these outstanding things are huge. It's like you have to have patience. Sometimes for the best things, you've got to show spirit, how much you really want it, how much you're going to fight for it, and what you would do to have it. But like I say, I do say to him as well, like, just stop playing games with me. You know, if it's not, you know what I mean? Just let me move forward, because I can't keep holding myself up. Because the problem with me is, like I said, I keep pushing forward, and Spirit's already said that you pull in things too. Like, I'm a powerful manifester. So if you don't know what that is, worth looking it up. So I could draw things towards me too very quickly. And what they've said is you've progressed too fast. We can't slow it down, but you're missing stages. They're missing things, you know. So like, there's still things I need to catch up with. When you consider that with love, it's like I'm progressing too fast for the other people to catch up and be on the same wavelength as me. So every time they see me, it's probably triggering. They're probably not feeling good enough because they're not at that healed state yet. And then every time I keep pushing forward, I'm pushing further away from them. So I'm like literally running up the mountain while they're just trying to freaking cope, you know. They're trying to climb up the mountain a little bit, and there's me, I'm like steaming up the damn thing. And you have to be in sync to be in a relationship. But again, I refuse to slow down for anything. So it's like, it is what it is, you know. It's almost like I feel I've got to achieve so much in a lifetime. I've got so much to say. I can't afford to waste time. So like I said at the beginning, it's like there's a chance that I have to live my life alone, and it's a consequence of my own doing. Yeah, it's a bit sad, because sometimes I think these the things we do, like I've shown there before, like if I didn't push the love angle back in October, November, it'll be a different story today. That person wouldn't have pushed away. I may have progressed further on my spiritual development because I was aligning with certain people. And it's kind of like, there's consequences. I get it. I was told there's consequences. Does it change me? No. In all honesty, no. Because things will still happen when they're supposed to happen, in whatever way they're supposed to happen. If it's someone else, if it's a different mentor comes in on my spiritual journey, all these things. It's just that it just takes a different road, you know, a fork in the road. It just goes a different way. And it's like, that's how I'll always be, you know. I've just beat to my drum, try and head where I'm going. But it's a lonely path, you know. But I'll probably get so used to it. But then that's when that hyper independence comes in. That's a worry. You get too hyper independent, you know. It's like you're never really going to feel comfortable in a union because you've been alone for too long. But I don't allow that to kick in. I'm still very much open to other people's opinions, other people's lifestyles, and blending that to evolve me, because I'm always looking to evolve anyway. But yeah, I just thought I'd share my journey, really, to show people. So if anyone else is single and alone, just realise it's you're not the only one suffering here. No matter how well it looks like someone's doing, there's another side, you know. I've probably missed some things. Happens. That frustrates me a lot when I finish some videos. I go, damn, I forgot that. I should have said this, should have said that. But I don't want to put too much weight and expectation on a certain person anymore. I think I've spoke about it enough now. The traits are great. And it's the fact that all the signs I have lead me to that person, you know. And I already know they're amazing anyway. And then Spirit back in October, November, just confirming And it's like, whoa. But like I say, I overshare and I push people away. It's a curse. But I do need to do some more reflection and more questions to spirit. Is it like, what's going on here? Is there someone else? Is there someone else that I can get my hope up about? Because this isn't really fun. So that's what I need to figure out, because I'm getting a bit fed up, because I said, stop sending me messages now through. I don't want these synchronicities anymore. Send me something else. Send me relevant stuff. Still got some messages about that, and I thought, that's just annoying me. That's not helping. That's not helping me. How can someone be watching me when they block me? Do you know what I mean? It don't make sense. Don't make sense. So I'm getting mixed messages at the minute through spirit. But I'd like to think at some point life does work out. You know, like I said, I don't want to get to 70 years old alone. I think that'd be quite sad. I've talked about this often. There's no point being successful on your own. I mean, it's important that we build that success. Shouldn't need someone to help us be successful in a sense. You know, we should be self-reliant. But I think to have an existence where you're alone is not really a success story to me. You know, but then it's important not to settle. So I mean, love is incredibly complicated. It's so important you're compatible with someone. You don't just get so impatient that you just settle. I mean, I've been single at this point 6 years. I think it's nearly 7, but I'll probably say just 6. It's going to be a decade soon. It's just pathetic, isn't it? I think once I hit a decade, I'll just give up. In all honesty, I think I will. I think when it reaches that, if it reaches that, I can't be bothered anymore. I think if I get to 45 and I'm still single, I'm not even bothering after that. I'm not starting a home too late in life. There's just no point. You know, because you can die at 60, you can die at 50, you can die at 70. I mean, I don't know. It's like part of me thinks that, but then another part, like I said in another video in the past, I said, like, would you best to love and lost or never to love at all? And I was like making the point that you should always cling to every happy moment you can. Every chance to be happy, you should grab it with both hands. Never have a regret. So like me saying that, that's my ego talking, saying that if I get to 45, I wouldn't be interested. Because that's me just like drawing a line and saying I'm done with that side and sort of closing your heart off like the Grinch. I know that's not really good for you. It's not, but it's like I would be having arguments with spirit, to be honest. I have arguments with them now because I keep saying that. I said, look, even if someone came to me now, that's half my life gone. Why do I only get a small fraction of love? Why don't I get that where someone can have it since childhood, you know? It's like, we all want that. Well, most of us do. If you've got a childhood sweetheart, for instance, and you was lucky enough to go your whole life with them, how lucky is that to have a whole life of love? I'm now 41. 41. I think I'm 41. I get lost. I've just had my birthday and I can't remember. I don't know what number it is. I think it's 41. So of course the worry there is how many years have you got? You know, every day is a day lost. Every year is closer to the end. It's like, it's quite sad really, isn't it? Spent your whole life dreaming and hoping of love, never really experiencing it. But like I said, those of us that are ambitious and have higher expectations, we're less likely to sort of just accept the superficial really and lower our standards. So there's a chance that you are alone for extended periods. Whereas I think someone with low expectations and they're not ambitious, they'll just throw themselves into any situation constantly. Yeah, never really fulfilled, but they got company. Each to their own. It's not for me to say that's bad or whatever, you know. But the way I see it is the more drama you pull towards you, you know. If you have frivolous relationships, I just can't be bothered with the chaos that comes with it. It's not even worth it, you know. And also, I think if you find yourself in a relationship that's not really, you're not in a loving relationship where there's a genuine connection that goes that deep, I feel like it's just, you don't want to upset someone to leave, do you? So, I mean, that becomes a problem. And also, you end up missing out potentially on someone you meet along the way because you're already in a relationship and you don't want to be that person. So, by being single, at least we're allowing ourselves the freedom to be ready when we do meet the right person and we're not hurting anybody. So I do have a moral compass, it's not just about me, it's about the people involved. I wouldn't want to hold someone up from a true love. And I wouldn't want to hurt someone. I don't want to give someone mixed signals. I don't want to give someone the wrong impression. I don't want to give someone a hope of something that I can't give them, because we don't get to choose where our heart is. And I think that's the one thing. All the other parts of our life, it's a decision. It's a choice, really. It's like we get to make a choice. You can help someone. You can not help someone. It's like it's not a huge commitment. You can sort of help. When it comes to love and sharing your life with someone, that's not something where you just go, oh, if it makes you happy, I'll be in a relationship with you. That's how does that work? Your misery makes someone else happy? That doesn't make sense to me. So like, yes, it might upset people. You have to turn them down. It might upset people. You say, no, I'm sorry. And then some people get defensive about that and they get really, really bent out of shape. And some people get obsessed and it's like, I don't understand this. If it's not compatible, it's not compatible. It's like you can't buy love. I mean, some people do. It's like crazy as hell. I never understand that. But then it's like some people it's that superficial side, isn't it? That materialism. Some people who actually forego part of their life to pretend to be in love to get money from someone else, and then they leave them and they feel like that was a good part of my life. Effectively, they were treating it like work. That's crazy to me. I don't play with love. But I am incredibly far from it. But this is the thing with me. I'm either incredibly far from love or I'm closer than I think. I don't know what one it is. All I do is be myself, though, and I'll just continue pushing forward, lowering my expectation in terms of ever happening. It's going to take someone remarkable. The higher I elevate, the further I push myself, the harder the smaller the field gets. I think that's the part we need to maybe see. Like I said, it's like if you think of like a football field or something, or just like a gym or somewhere. I don't know. But you've got a massive area and your expectations are low. You're not really striving for much. You're just living a mundane life. Everyone's available. Because you've got no expectations. It's like, this is all free. I can do what I want. There's no consequences. I've got no meaning to my life. It's like, I'm just going with the flow, baby. Taking on experiences, if you like. Once you start elevating yourself and holding yourself to a higher standard, there's more responsibility. So then you start to go, wait a minute, who aligns with me? Like, has my being? Who could come on me on this journey? Then the pool gets a lot smaller. So that's the problem I got. So it's like ambitious people, successful people, people that have high morals, integrity. These are all values I need because these are all have in me. These are all important to me. What makes it even worse and harder, though, is the spiritual side. So it's like you can have people that tick these boxes, but if they're not understanding or believing the spiritual side that I'm on, what's the point? Because we're going to be in conflict. You're never going to understand. I'm going to have to overwork. I'm going to have to over-talk things just to try and make someone in my life understand why I make this decision or why I think this or what's going on in my life or the signs I receive. It's just too hard work. I can't be doing that. It's like it's got to be someone that actually understands it and is very similar in that regard to me. So then the field gets smaller and smaller. Effectively, it's probably only like 5 people on the entire planet if I'm lucky. No, my luck is 1. But I don't know. So my hope is, if it's not the person I think it is, Spirit doesn't wait around too long to bring me my person, because like I said, time is getting ahead of all of us, and I do feel quite lonely sometimes, But like I say, I'm good at distracting myself, but I think it's not really fair to have to distract yourself all the time. Yeah, so anyway, Valentine's Day isn't really my day. It's a day to sort of bury my head in the sand and pretend it don't exist. Do Dorothy, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. Hoping the next day comes and go, phew, thank God for that. It's a bit sad, really, I think, when some of us live that life. And obviously, I'm not the only one. I think there's plenty of people that just dread Valentine's Day, even if they're in a really perfect relationship. It's the pressure of it all. It's nice to receive, isn't it, love on a Valentine's Day, but it's really hard to be that person who's got to fulfill an expectation. It's an awful lot of pressure. Some people thrive in that circumstance. When it comes to matters of the heart, yeah, I am a bit of a fool, really. again, we all have our limitations, and I've talked far too long. If anyone's watched any of this, I'll be surprised. Yeah.